Yo, what is going on, part-timers? Zach here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Fallen Star event. So I went ahead and I ran through each one of these missions twice. Now, some of these do cost 120, so I wanted to go through each one of them 3 times, but I just didn't have enough packs and I didn't have enough stamina. But I went ahead and went through every single thing twice to get essentially a little bit of an average to give you guys an idea of what's going to be the most efficient. Now, the currency that I'm talking about, though, is going to be this one right here. So anytime that I reference event currency, this is what I'm talking about for the shop. We will talk about the shop here in a little bit, but I wanted to talk about the missions first to give you guys an idea of what to run. We will be starting from the first one and going to the last one, so essentially going through all of these and giving you an idea of what essentially the best is to run. So I'm pulling down my Excel sheet here to give you guys an idea. I'm just going to break this down real quickly. The top is all the missions. The time is how long it took me to do it. The samples are going to be the event currency. The memories are going to be contingent on the memory stages. There are some ones that give you like a certain percentage as a 6-star after so many runs and stuff like that. There's weapon and memory enhancer ones, and then there's a cost. So essentially what the cost is every single time that I run one of these, what does it cost to me? This one is 30. So this is going to be kind of an idea. Some of these are like 75. Some of these are going to be 120. So it's just going to fluctuate a little bit, but we'll kind of explain that here in a minute. Now, talking about a full run, I took it divided by 160, which is my max stamina, divided by the 30, which is the cost of the run, and then times the event currency. Now, I always do the lower amount. So, for example, this one's 34 through 37. That just means that I got 34, and I also have gotten 37. So anywhere in between is essentially what I expect every single time that I run. But I always run the minimum amount because that is what I got minimally. And I just wanted to give you guys an idea of a realistic number that can be more consistent. So, talking about some of these ones as kind of presented here, there are some different things that I'll talk about here in a minute for first time rewards. These ones are just kind of stuff to give you an idea essentially of what each one of these can give you if you run them all. I do recommend running through them all anyway, because you get event currency and stuff like that anyway. But talking about just the currency for grinding purposes, you're going to look at QL1 and QL2. They do look promising. There are some missions down the road that are a little bit better, which we'll talk about here in a couple seconds. It does take me 11 to 12 seconds to do these. And as you can see, 171, 181, it does look a little bit more consistent than a lot of different stuff that will be on this one, because it does seem like it fluctuates a little bit. Now, you may be wondering what's going on with Q3 and Q4 at the fact that it took me, 9 seconds, 15 seconds, but I was only getting about 5 to 4 event currency. These are actually going to be your memory stages, and these are going to be what you grind for if you're looking to get a memory. I don't really recommend this at the start because you are going to be wanting to get the currency as fast as you can, and this is really going to slow you down quite a bit. It's even slower than what it was on the Frozen Darkness event, unfortunately, because I'm pretty sure on the Frozen Darkness event I got like 11 to 12, and this one's only 4 to 5. So I'm really going to recommend these on the very back burner if you're looking for memories towards the end of the event, but we'll talk about that in like an updated one. I usually do one in the middle of the event to give you guys an idea after you farm so many different things, what to kind of be looking for next. Now, talking about Q5 and Q6. So Q5 is okay. It looks a little bit more of variety. Essentially, if you're looking for something to hop onto that you just don't want to keep doing the same mission again, it will be helpful because it is only 15 seconds. And I got about an average of 33 to 36. And then I got a total of 176. So you can see it's very in line with these guys. Now, you will obviously see that some of these are a little bit higher, and you may be like, oh, well, I'll just go for the highest one. Remember, that's just an average. So it's just giving you an idea that some of these may fluctuate a little bit depending on the averages, but you could also get a pretty consistent like 36, for example, if you're kind of lucky. So let's just give you a little bit of an idea of diversity. Now, talking about 6 and 7. So these are going to be the ones that are quite high. You can see that they cost 75 and 120 respectively. And it's going to be these last 2 missions. Now, you might be wondering, why do they have such a high cost? You may be wondering if they're going to give you a lot of event currency. You can see that this one actually gives you 86 per run, and this one actually gives you 135 to 130 or 41, which is kind of a big discrepancy in my opinion between the two of them. When you compare some of these other ones, which are only like 3 or 4 marks away, you can see that this one's almost 10 essentially. But the reason for these, at least in my opinion, is going to be for the people who want to just jump in real quick, man. Like, it's going to be like you want to jump in for like 10 minutes or maybe even less than that because maybe you have something else to do, or maybe you're not going to have time that day. These are going to be missions that I really recommend if you are on like a time sensitive schedule and you're not really looking to play more than 10 minutes. You just want to jump in here real quick, get your currency and get out. Now, like I said, this one's going to be 172, which is a little bit more consistent than 135. Because obviously when you compare it to like, 171, 181, it's going to be a little bit more diversity. But like I said, it's more for the person that just wants to jump in real quick and grab their currency and go. But the cool thing is you actually only do that for 120. You still have 40 left to go. So you could actually run one of these as well. and you could end up getting like 160, 167. So it is a little bit more in line if you factor in the fact that you can also do an extra mission on top of it and not just run the whole thing, because you can only run this one technically once unless you top up with your BC. Now, talking about the QLC 1 and QLC 2, these are going to be essentially the ones that I recommend the most, mainly because you can see that this one has a higher average. I really didn't get anything lower than 37 out of the 2 times that I ran it. Obviously, it will fluctuate a little bit, but I wasn't seeing any kind of fluctuation with this one. And as of right now, it's giving me the highest consistency. But again, you're not really getting much for it. You're not getting any memory enhancers. You're not getting any memories. It's really just going to be for that currency. Again, with number 2 here as well, it does look like it's a little bit more consistent as well, especially if you compare it to like QL1. So what I would really recommend if you're going straight for currency, it's going to be these 2 right here, which is going to be in the switch to challenge stage. Is going to be ones right here. These ones are going to cost 30, and they're going to give you the most bang for your buck from what I've been able to see consistently while I was kind of grinding through it. Now, Q3 and Q4, again, these are going to be your memory ones on the challenge stages. There's actually not those big heavy hitters at 75 and 120 respectively. They're not going to be here in the challenge stages. These are actually going to be your collection for your memories if you're going for memories again. But again, this is going to be more of like that 5 currency here. I do think that these are a little bit more consistent than 3 or 4, mainly just with that currency there. But again, it's only going to be 5, so it's not really too much of a bang for your buck. But if you didn't know that you essentially have a certain percent of chance to drop a 6-star memory, and then you have a 100% chance of a 6-star memory after it clears. So if that is something that you're interested in, like I said, I would really recommend towards the end half of the event, you're going to be kind of grinding on that or grinding for currency overall. So what I would really recommend in the grand scheme of thing is going to be QLC 1 and QLC 2. This is going to be your bread and butter essentially for those currencies. There are some that give you memory enhancers, but I really don't think that they're going to be kind of worth it in the grand scheme of things, because it's just more important to buy it from the shop if you have the currency anyway. Now, talking about first time rewards, this is going to be essentially the first time rewards for all of them. So what I'm talking about right here is the event currency, BC, the cogs, and the battle logs. So this is another currency that you're going to see only for this first time clear. So these battle logs, you can jump into here and you can claim some different things. Do not make the mistake I did. I thought you had to go in order, because whenever it presents it to you one at a time and then highlight. So I thought it was redeemable. I didn't know that I was spending the currency at the beginning, but you can see that there's a lot of stuff in here to kind of grab. So there's like 6-star memory shards. There's even supply tickets for your coding stuff. There's some different things with the currency. Let me find it. The Wantanabe currency, which we'll talk about here in a second. And that is essentially it. I'm talking about that currency real quick. There are some stages that give you that at the beginning as well. You can see that this one's actually going to be, a lot of these stages are actually going to give you a certain amount of currency. I went ahead and took the total. If you did every single one of these, you're actually going to get HC, which is essentially these ones right here. It's going to be this currency for the Wantanabe. This is how much you're going to get if you run through the whole entire story. It's going to be 3,000. Your BC is going to be 400, and your total logs is going to be 500. Those battle logs are going to be what you use to jump into this currency and grab from here. Now, there are other ways to get it. Obviously, if you want to go on more on Wantanabe, you can actually buy it from the shop, which is going to be right here. So you can actually buy 250 for 15. You only get 50 of these though. So kind of keep in mind, if you are going for Wantanabe, this is going to be something that you're going to need to grind on a little bit. All right, guys, real quickly, I'm just going to be talking about what you should be working for in the shop. So if you really want a skin, or you want a free skin for Live, you can work on this for 3,150. This is what it's going to look like if you guys want to go in here on your own, essentially look at it in game. You can go to your A Live, go to coding, and then go to the coding. You can see that it looks quite good. So if you want to grab it, make sure to do so. It will be a free skin, and it's going to be one of the times you can grab a free skin essentially. So the other question, if you are kind of like familiar with the way that this kind of works, what kind of memories do you need? How many of the memories do you need? And what kind of slots do you want? So Darwin is actually going to be the 2-set for Wantanabe, and then you're going to need a 4-piece of Bathon. Now the thing is, 1, 2, and 3, Darwin has a little bit better stats. So instead of that 146, she actually has 149. Now I may be wondering, okay, well, I only need 2 Darwins, so what slots do I put it in? This is where it's going to be kind of important to make sure as you're grinding on this for Wantanabe that you make sure to pay attention to which one of these you actually grab, because you can see this is a 1 slot and a 4 slot, and they don't give any other slots. So if you end up getting the 1 slot for this, you can see that obviously it's 146. Darwin's going to be 149. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this one, you're going to get the original one, and then you're going to get 2 more for residence, and you're going to do that for each one of these slots that you need up to 4 times. So essentially what you're going to do is ignore 2 and 3, because that is where your Darwin's going to go. And then the Barthons are going to be 4, 5, and 6. So you're going to need 1, 4, 5, and 6. You're going to need an original one, and then you're going to need 2 copies for residence. So a grand total of 12. So if you get all 12 and you get the coding here, it's going to be 6,150 if you're grabbing all of that. Now, that doesn't take into consideration if you want to grab more of these. For example, if you're kind of having bad luck with the grinds on Wantanabe, you're not able to grab them, or maybe you just want some of the shards, some of the different things for weapons. That is not going to take into consideration as that, because I do think that there's going to be a little bit more time to grind towards the end of the event if you're looking to grab some of that stuff. Also, you know, for example, like the cog packs and all that kind of stuff will be something that we'll work on as we kind of get to the middle part of the event. So with all of that being said, that is essentially how you grind through it. You know, don't make the mistake that I made with this. Make sure you're picking out what you want essentially and going from there. So anyway, that is going to be what I recommend overall. We're going to be going over like a mid event essentially whenever we get about halfway. I'll talk about what I'm kind of pivoting to once I get all of my memories, once I get all the different things in the shop that I want, and then going from there. But anyway, guys, I will see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Peace.